So today's a special day for me. Today is the anniversary of my mom's passing. And so it's a day that I'll always remember and think of my mom and our family. You know, it brings us close together at this time because we're thinking about her. And it wasn't that long ago when she passed. But so that gives us subject matter for today to talk about that. To talk about that experience that we all have to have in this life, to where our loved ones have to move on, go to the spirit world, and leave us here. And some of us have had a lot of loss in our lives, have had a lot of people that we know pass on and continue their journey. And myself, I also help with a lot of funerals and sing and play flute and help people during that transition when they lose loved ones. And so one of the things that always sticks out to me that I notice is that when I'm at these funerals or just experiencing that time where someone has had to take their journey, I always notice the children. I always notice the little infants and the little kids playing, and I'm blessed to be part of a big Puerto Rican family that makes me happy. And we have large families, and say my grandpa's funeral, I think we had something like 180 of the 5 generations that came from my grandfather at that funeral. And you see all that life. You see these children running around and playing. And that just reminds me of that. Like that everything is on its way to somewhere. And there's always new things coming. Always new things coming. And that's just the part of this life. And sometimes that is hard to understand and hard to accept. And I think that it gets confusing for a lot of people, losing a loved one or death. And I think that we have to remember that all the emotions are good. Missing somebody, that's a good thing. That means that there was love there. Sadness and tears, that's a beautiful thing, to be able to be in touch with that. But sometimes I think those things get turned a little different. They turn into deep grief sometimes, or lack of understanding, or I think it also brings up unfinished business that we have in some of those relationships with some of those people, maybe sometimes. But it's a very interesting thing, because as human beings, and I think the way that we're conditioned to believe is that the only thing that is, like when someone dies or whatever, is what do you call that? It's like bad, like it's a bad experience, or it's tragic, or all of these things. And like with my mom, a lot of people were talking about sudden. It was so sudden. Well, I don't know that sudden is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, because my thought is if I had time to prepare and I know that someone was going on, that tells me that maybe that means they have something that they would have to suffer through for a long period of time before their passing. And so, when I think of the word sudden, I think, well, that's kind of a blessing. You know what I mean? Because that means that there wasn't years of, slow deterioration and suffering and things like that. But I don't know. I just feel like that we all have to have that experience, and I hope that people can get in touch with the beauty of it. Get in touch with the beauty. And what I always tell people when we're in these situations is how I honor that life, that's the important thing. And so when someone passes on and they don't get to be here on this earth anymore and they have something else to do, the best thing that I can do is to live my best life in honor of those people that I love. So in honor of my mother, in honor of my nephew, in honor of these people that I love, I do the best I can. I have joy in my life. I treat others with love and kindness, and I hold them in fond memory. And sometimes in some traditions we might take some time before we speak too much of that person, let their spirit journey to the other place and all of that. But that time will come when, you know, we'll have to go through our mourning period, so to speak, or our grieving. But then we talk about those people. We remember those people. We even, in some traditions, we even pray for those people still because their journey continues. But the best we can do is hold them in our hearts, and that's how they live forever. Their spirits continue on, but those spirits continue on through us and through our memory and through our stories. And so we remember these people that we love. We talk about them, we laugh about them, we tell those stories, and we also, like I said, do the best that we can to live our life, because we have the gift of life here on this earth, and while we're here, that's how we honor the ones that have gone before us, is we do the best that we can, and we think of them during that time. So my heart goes out to all of you that have had to deal with loss during this, any time in your life. Maybe it was when you were a child and there's still parts in there that you haven't got figured out, but whatever that it is, you know, I pray that your hearts heal and that you can see the beauty in the gift of life and the gift of perhaps what goes on after that, and the memory that's left behind, and all the beauty that's left behind from those people that we have these experiences with. This song here is a song I played similar to a song I played on the day that my mom passed out in Puerto Rico, with the ocean waves coming in on the porch that she always sat at and watched the sunset. So I'm thinking of her today, and I'm thinking of all you today and all the loved ones that you've had to say goodbye to. And so as for your health and healing, You